Good morning, Chayé Moharan, Resh Ayin Tet. שמעתי בשמו שאמר, מן רבי שמעון בר יוחאי שהיה חידוש כמפורסם, היה עולם שקט עד האריזה. From Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, the famous Sikha, until the Arizal, the world was quiet. היינו, שמרבי שמעון בר יוחאי עד האריזל, לא נתגלו חדשות כמו שנתגלו על ידי רבי שמעון בר יוחאי. Rabbi Shimon was a chidush gadol. From Moshe Rabbeinu until Rabbi Shimon, it was one track. The new update, the new download, the new mahalach was by when Rabbi Shimon came in that he revealed. Don't think that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have everything. Of course he had everything. But at what point do we allow you to open up? At what point do we allow you to reveal it to the people? So that was by when Rabbi Shimon came, and Rabbi Shimon wrote the Zohar. The Zohar, I'll tell you the truth, is very much understandable on a certain level of Midrashim, and a lot of it is a closed book. Like the Chumash is a closed book without the Gemara, Rabbi Shimon is a closed book without the Arizal. We don't start learning in Kabbalah the Zohar first. We start with the Ari. We start with the Ari that explains us afterwards. Then you have the lenses to understand the Zohar. Today they have Pirushim of the Zohar with the Agdamot of the Ari, so it's understandable. So all the Mefarshim Zohar use the Arizal to Mefarish the Zohar. So Rabbi Shimon opens up, but who can understand the Zohar? Who can understand it? Even the great Rabbanim couldn't understand it. You need a Ramak or an Arizal that understands the Zohar, which was 1,000 years before. The Arizal is 500 years ago. Moshe Rabbeinu is 3,000 years ago. The Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai is 2,000 years ago. The Arizal is 500 years ago. For 1,500 years, the Zohar was a closed book. Some great Mekubanim were able to write Pirushim and understand it, the Ramak especially. And then the Arizal, he writes Kitvari, gives you all the keys to understand the Zohar. But it was closed. And the ones with access were very small. Comes the Ari and he opens it up to a lot more people. But what type of people we're talking about? We're talking about people that are Mereim Mikrishas Poskim, and they understand the Kabbalah, and they can understand the Kitve Arizal, which also is very hard. It's very hard. You got to keep going at it and keep going at it and keep going until you start to figure it out. And then, so there was a small select group of Talmid Chachamim Mekubalim could understand all that's in the shorish of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. And then, Ad sheba Arizal, shaya chidush gadol kemefusam, ugila chadashot legamri. You have to know that the Arizal was supposed to be Mashiach. The Arizal at a certain point in Sfat, he told his Talmidim, let's go to greet Mashiach in Yerushalayim. It was in Ed Ratzon, they had to say yes. They said, let us ask our wives. Let me ask my wife. The Rebbe's telling you we're going to get Mashiach, you're going to ask your wife if she lets me go. And he said, you guys missed it. Now it's not going to be. They missed the door was open for that moment. It was supposed to be him. The Arizal was supposed to be was supposed to be Mashiach. He passed away at a young age, below 40. He knew Reb Chaim Vital for about a year and a half, a year and 9 months. And all of the writings that we have of the Arizal was for Reb Chaim Vital wrote them. He hid them. We got them later. And the Arizal himself said that he came only to fix the neshama of Reb Chaim Vital, to make sure that this Talmid, who was older than him, believe it or not, gets the information. He got it, he was able to grab it. The Arizal, he needed that Talmid to be able to grab it and be able to distribute it. Afterwards, שלא נמצא מי שיגלה חדשות כאלה עד האריזה. ומן האריזה עד הבעל שם טוב, היה גם כן העולם שקט בלא חידוש. And now, the system of serving Hashem, or the Idgalut, there's no Idgalut. Until comes the Baal Shem, Ashebat Baal Shem Tov, a new update. And really what it is, it's not even good to say it's a new update. It's what it is allowing it to the masses a little bit more. For example, I remember my father bought a car when I was young, and they had a car. He didn't buy it new. Somebody owed him money and gave him the car. My father would have never bought that car, but he got a Mercedes car with a phone in it. It had a phone in the car. Now, there was a big phone in the car. In the middle, right? In the middle, the big phone. It's like, it was huge. It was a huge phone. But by the way, that was already after there already exist phones in briefcases. Even 10 or 15 years before. I didn't see that with my own eyes. But even before that, there was in NASA. So NASA has access at the beginning to these types of phones. Then the president will get one 15 years later. Then it'll be the rich billionaires that will have them in their car. And then it's going to be that every kid, when I was 16 years old, already every kid had a telephone. But it was it was small flip phones. It wasn't with all the things. And then eventually today, there's no such thing as not having a phone anymore. The same thing with an air conditioning. The same thing with right now. There's a private jet. You have to know that soon if there are now, first it was only NASA, then it was the president, now it's the billionaires, and eventually everybody's going to be flying. The same way you have a car. A car was only reserved, who has a car today? Every guy has a car. People have 2 cars today, but 100 years ago, 120 years ago, you can be sure it wasn't like that. We allow to break through the light, we need to break it, we need to bring it down. The tzaddik needs to do that avad to break through and bring it down, but once he brings it down, he's allowing it to have access. Of course, when we allow it to have access, it is still mitzumtzam and mitzumtzam and mitzumtzam, to the point where the Baal Shem Tov can take all the Hamon Am. Do you know that the Baal Shem Tov had a group of hidden tzaddikim that their first job in Ukraine was to get the Jews the parnasah? Their first tafkid was make sure, set up farming for them. Don't speak to the guy about his ruchaniut until you take care of his gashmiut. We have to take care of the Jewish parnasa first. Rab Shaila had a son, and the guy came into Bid Midrash by Rab Shaila, and the guy ran over to him. Rab Shaila's son ran over. He said, "Did you daven?" Rab Shaila pulled him aside. He says, "Not your problem if he davened. Ask him if he had breakfast. Give him breakfast, and then we'll see if then he can daven. It's his problem." That was Rab Shaila. The Baal Shem Tov first set up jobs, and then he got them to be Ovdei Hashem, and then he was able to take the big Talmidei Chachamim and give them access to all the Kabbalah with the Chassidut al Pi Avoida, and then he was able to give to the Hamon Am, he was able to give them in their dose, the dose of the Torah, the Kedusha, the Kabbalah. He was able to give them the dose that's able to illuminate them, pick them up, even though it's without all the lamdut and all the concepts, but the or inside of it. You don't know how your phone works, but you don't have to know. It works. You don't have to know your car. You press the button, you plug it in. You don't have to know that things. But there were people who need to figure out all the wiring and all the system, how to. That's the Ari, that's the Rab Shimon, that's the Baal Shem. And then we mass produce it, and then we give it out, and then you make talmidim. So I don't make the phones, but I sell the phones. I don't even know how they work, but I sell them. You could have, and then you have talmidim that are able to give the law. They don't understand how the Baal Shem Tov got it. And that was for the Hamon Am. And that was also Shaket. And you see, Ad Hina, Vayaonam im mitnaheg, Ad Ata, שהיה חידוש נפלא בגלל חדשות, מבעל שם טוב עד עתה היה גם כן העולם שקט בלי חידוש כזה. והעולם מתנהג רק על פי התגלות שגרה בעל שם טוב. What's interesting is the Baal Shem Tov Rabbeinu is very short. The Baal Shem Tov, it goes faster. From Moshe Rabbeinu to Rab Shimon. From Rab Shimon to the Ari, It's also a good 1200 years. Before and it's going fast now. Then Baal Shem Tov, and then Rabbeinu is the great grandson. Rabbeinu just missed the Baal Shem Tov. Rabbeinu's mother grew up with the Baal Shem Tov, in the house of the Baal Shem Tov. And so the Baal Shem Tov, actually, what's coming out here was a short span.
Baal Shem Tov is Plaga Mincha.
And Rabbeinu is the Shkia. That's what it says here. והיה עולם מתנהג רק על פי התגלות שגרה בעל שם טוב, עד הנה, עד שבאתי אנוכי, ועתה אני מתחיל לגלות חדשות נפלאות דגר. But now I'm starting the new way. You understand that now the way of the download is, the dat is al pi dat Rabbeinu. The Baal Shem Tov was mekarev all the Hamonam. The Rabbeinu is going to mekarev all the Rishaim, even the Rishaim. Meaning, we're not only allowing the light to the simple Jew, we're bringing the light to the Rasha Gamur to pick him up and get him out and take all the sodot that where he fell. There's many sodot Torah that you're going to pick them up. So al Kol Panim, we have a tremendous root, and Rabbeinu said in another place that the inyan of the Baal Shem Tov stopped. What the Baal Shem Tov started, it stopped, and now and he said, but I want to do something. The Baal Shem Tov worked, but he said, I'm going to do something that it's going to make a Talmud, it's going to continue. So the inyan of Rabbeinu is still continuing. Don't be mistaken. Rabbeinu is standing on the shoulders of the Baal Shem. Rabbeinu can only do what he did because the Baal Shem Tov did what he did. And the Baal Shem can only do because of what the Ari does and the Baal Shem does. But if you, for example, know what we're learning right now in Torah Zayin, he's going through all the sfirot. Heirat haratzon is keter. Yadayim shebiyad ha-chokhmah. Yam ha-chokhmah is bina. It's bina ilah, because yam of chokhmah. It's not chokhmah. Yadayim shebiyad ha-chokhmah is chesed and gvura. Yadayim, right and left. And then he's bringing it all the way down to the Malchut, and the Malchut Nishchek and giving the Parnasah to everybody. And you could read that in Kitvari. And what exactly are you going to do with that? But now Rabbeinu says, you know what that is? It's shaykh to you as well. Have a little Malchut, you're shaykh to Malchut. Have a little control, you are a king. Because you have a king, so you're going to get the Parnasah. You're getting Heirat Ratzon is Parnasah, which is Ratzon, the highest place, it's Keter. And all this is when you go to the Rebbe and he shows you a remez, he's actually giving the Makif Elyon. He's bringing it all taklis practical. Rabbeinu said in another place, people think it's my merit that I bring the Kitva Arizal in my Sfarim. No, it's the opposite. It's a merit for the Ari that I'm able to, it's a merit for the Ari that I bring him.
Wow.
Rabbeinu at a certain point said, I wanted to write Pirush on, it would be good to write a Pirush on the Kitva Arizal. On the Kitva Ari, on the Kavanot and on the Kitva Ari. The problem is, on the Etzchaim, the only problem is, he said you have to do it in way of Torot. Because to write a Pirush Pashut, it's not going to work. So all of the Likutei Moharan, especially big Torot, it's biurim on Kavanot of the Ari. Now the Ari lived for a very short amount of time, so he just gave the raw. But anybody, Rabbeinu, when he said, I just finished now the Kitva Ari, and it's Kulo Musar. It's all Musar. You ever read the Kitva Arizal?
Yeah, it's like technical.
It's all technical.
And
And this and coming out of Ak, and the ears of Ak, and the eyes of Ak, and the hay comes out, and the hay is a hay and a vav, and then many olives come out, and if it's coming out of the nostrils and coming out of the peh, and all these things. So you get the system, and then eventually, but Rabbeinu was able to see the chizuk behind it. It's musar. It's all musar. Nobody saw musar in the Kitva Ari. Nobody. But Rabbeinu was able to take the Kitva Ari, and he never wrote the Pirush. But then once he asked Rav Nosson, where we're holding in the Kavanot, Eifo Chazim Kavanot, where we're holding, what Kavanot? We're not learning the Kavanot. And then he showed, Rabbeinu said, who can show me in Torah Vav? How all the Kavanot Arizal are in Torah Vav. When he finished Torah Vav, he said, who can show me the Kavanot? Nobody understood. And then Rabbeinu showed them how it's all a biur of the Kavanot Ari. Now what happens? Yeah, but Elul is Anotem Yam Derech. You understand what that means? Okay, so now if you know that you don't vishtok and yishma bizono, so you're actually making all that or into practical kelim to be able to serve Hashem. So the people who say, no, I'm learning Kabbalah without Rabbeinu, you didn't get to the end. It's like you have a building without, you have the structure of the building, you have all the wood, you have everything, but you didn't close the building. You didn't bring the wires of electricity. Huh? Why?